What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 94. My name is Bret, aka Enigma 9011, and we're flying solo once again. But that's okay. We're going to have some fun and interesting conversations for you guys. If you want to catch this podcast live, you can go to twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat if you're a sub over there. We'd love to have you in on the conversation. If you can't catch it live, that's a-okay. You can go over to YouTube and SoundCloud the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. And last but not least, hashtag ad merch store. You can get all of your swag over there: t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand, support us. It would be greatly appreciated. So yes, flying solo once again today. I know we've been doing a lot of guests and I've been having fun with them. I just figured, as of recording, it's a holiday weekend. People will be free because it's a holiday weekend, but people might have plans. So I was like, you know what, we'll just play it safe. We'll fly solo, and we'll just talk about some good old wrestling and some other stuff. But you know me, usually it's a solo podcast. There's wrestling involved somehow. So we're going to get to the wrestling topics in 2 and 3, but I wanted to kick off today's podcast by talking about a little movie that just came out. We're going to talk about The Fast and the Furious 9, or Fast 9 as it's being called. If you haven't watched this movie, obviously skip this part. I'm going to kind of give my general thoughts in the beginning of my impressions if you want to know that, and then once we get to the spoiler territory, I'll be like, all right, we're going all out explanation there. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that movie a little bit and what I thought of it. So non-spoiler thoughts of Fast 9. I thought it was good. I thought it was a fun movie. It was enjoyable. I think they did a good job with the story of tying everything in and how they implemented the new characters and stuff like that. The big important thing to know about this movie, and you know, generally, if you're going to see a Fast and Furious movie by now, you should already know this, but maybe the rest of the people who are just like, I don't know, I might go see it, don't know this. If you're going to go to this movie, just go in for the entertainment value. Turn off your brain going into this movie. Now, I'm not saying, like, it's so stupid that you need to turn off your brain. I just mean, like, turn it off and have fun with it. Because by now, you should know, it's just going to get more ridiculous. The action it's action for action's sake. It's just big, dumb fun. If you go in with that mindset of, like, let's just have a good time, let's share some laughs, let's see all the crazy stuff that they're going to do, you're going to walk away out of this enjoying it. But if you're just sitting there the whole time being like, what the hell is this? This makes no sense. This is stupid. You're not going to, you're not going to enjoy it. So that would be my advice to you if you're if you're planning on seeing this. Just go in to have fun. Realize that it's going to be kind of crazy and stupid, and just have a good time with it. I don't know. That would be my my recommendation. So now we're going to go into full spoiler mode. We're not obviously going to talk about the whole movie, but just some things that I thought were good, bad, whatever. So if you haven't seen the movie and you want to skip this, go over to part 2 and go from there. So Fast 9, like I said, it was good. I thought they did a really good job with the story. So they're telling the story of John Cena's character, aka Dominic's brother. Which I'm already blanking on his name. That's not good. But Jacob, Jesus. So talking about Jacob. So we're kind of getting the backstory of Dom and Jacob and their family, and how, like, they helped their dad with the races, and unfortunately they both lost their father during a race, and how, like, their bond kind of split because Dom went to jail and did his time, and Jacob, meanwhile, obviously was free to his own devices. So I thought these, throughout the movie, they intermittently, like, flash back to kind of give us more context to why they split, the dad's accident, causes for it, the rift and friction between them, why they never really reconciled or whatever. So we get that throughout, and they give us that filler / backstory that, like, why haven't we talked about this character in the other 8 movies? Like, we know about Mia, Dom's sister, but we've never heard of the brother at all. So I thought they did a good job of, like I said, every once in a while throwing back this narrative to kind of fill it all together. I thought they did a good job with that. As for the overarching story, just like the more recent Fast and Furiouses, it's Furious High? No, just kidding. Oh, this is a big thing. It's gonna affect the planet. Blah blah blah. This one was like a tech weapon that was gonna shut things down and allow access to anything and everything for whoever is in control of this device, including weapons, etc., etc. So obviously everything's over the top like situation here for essentially these normal people to deal with, or that they get called in and summoned for. We tied in Mr. Nobody, how he's the source of this problem. Like, oh, he reached out, being this big thing to them, and he needs their help. The overarching story of stopping Jacob from activating this thing was good. They did a good job of showing the stakes of like Dom and his family. Like, do we want the family life? Do we want the, to keep up with the high speed stuff and action or whatever, that more thrilling side of family and life? And they, how they brought everybody in to do it made sense. Nobody felt like shoehorned in. I would say the only ones who maybe felt that way were the guys from Tokyo Drift, which it's been kind of like that. I don't remember when the first one that came back was. I don't know if it was 7 or if it was 8, where they finally brought back the main guy from Tokyo Drift, Sean. And like, he was in it for a hot second. Like, they always seem, at least that movie, they're never like fully back. Like we've seen in other Fast and Furious, is like, oh, we're getting the gang back together. Like, you have Ludacris's character and all these other characters that come back, and then they're like there for the main chunk of the movie. They're figuring out how they're gonna solve things, or in the action sequences or whatever. But the Tokyo Drift guys, they're kind of like there for like a filler. Like, oh, we need to either get some backstory, or this is setting something up, if that makes sense. They're not there for like the high speed or the insane action or whatever. So I would say they're the only ones that are shoehorned in. It doesn't feel forced. It's just like, oh, hey, it's so-and-so. Here it is. As I'm talking, there is a shoehorn in, but I'll talk about that after these guys. But at least their portion made sense and added into the story of like, oh, okay, they're setting up the rocket car with these guys. They're doing the experiments on it, then we're going to call back to it, and that's how we go to in space. Yeah, you heard me right. Going in space. Stupid, dumb fun. So, like, that story all made sense, how the people were added in. Speaking of shoehorn and people just showing up out of nowhere, shout out to my boy Kev. What is a Cardi B? For some reason, Cardi B's in this movie. I don't know if just because fucking Vin Diesel and her are tight. Stupid. That was the only shoehorn that made no sense. All these other characters like, oh, that's so-and-so from this one, or oh, that's the friend from this one. Dom gets captured at one point by Interpol, or whatever the fuck the thing is called. He's in the armored vehicle, and all of a sudden, the guards all take their masks off, and there's a bunch of ladies, and Cardi B's like their leader. Oh, hey, haven't seen you forever. Blah, 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 blah. No explanation, whatever. We just needed a way to get Dom out of this thing. Stupid. That was the only dumb shoehorn in there. I know, Artemis. Why is Cardi B in this movie? She's not an actress. She wants to be. She can be. But it was dumb. So, that was the only dumb shoehorn. We got some nice call-outs to Brian. We know, obviously, with Paul Walker's death, Brian's not going to be in this movie, or any of these movies, which I'll talk about later as well. But we got, finally, like, call-outs to him, because since his passing, we've kind of avoided talking about him. I think maybe they've only name-dropped him, like, once. It's nice to know, like, they're acknowledging, yes, this character's still around, obviously, in the universe, but, yeah, his actor passed away, isn't around. So he's taking care of the kids. he shows up at the end for the family dinner, which is nice, or at least you see the signature car drive up. So I did appreciate that. We're at least acknowledging, hey, there's that. While I'm on this train of thought with Brian, it was at the very end. It's, the usual shtick. We saved the day, and now we're going to have the big family dinner. I was wondering how they were going to do it, if they were going to acknowledge it at all. Not that this is, recent that this happened, but I think the last time they just kind of completely ignored it, that he wasn't even there. I was wondering if they're going to do, a silhouette of him, or just, a standing figure that would have represented him, or been oh, okay, he's there. But they kind of really made a point of, we're going to say grace, we're going to do the whole thing, start the celebration. Oh, there's a chair that's empty. And then Mia responds, oh, he's on his way, don't worry. And then, like I said, we see the signature car pull in. Now, I have some thoughts about this. Nice, like I said, for them to acknowledge and just, he's still around in this universe. It makes me a little bit nervous that they made it such a big point at the end of the movie. This is how it cuts out to credits, of the car rolling into the driveway. The reason that's concerning, and that it's such a focal point, Fast 10 is going to be a two-parter, and I believe it's the end of the saga series, whatever you want to call it. For the love of God, please do not bring back Paul Walker CGI mode. I don't want it. I understand it's the end of the series. You would want that to tie in. If it's just similar to how they did at the end of 7, where obviously he's doing the driving away part, that little nice moment and send off for him. If it's just use his brothers and then do the thing, and it's just a goodbye or a send off for him, fine, totally fine with that. Do that. Do not, please, fully put this man in this movie. I don't know. It's I want to see it because obviously the character has legacy there, but also it's the man's dead. Can we just let him be? Now, you could, I can already hear the arguments for it. And like I said, I kind of want it, but I also don't. You could make the argument similar to Star Wars, Rogue One. God forbid, I cannot tell you the actor's name, but the older general that was completely CG. Oh, he was in the movie, blah, blah, blah. You could make that argument. I get it. I don't know when this gentleman passed. I don't know the timeline here. So I could say that oh, it was longer since his passing or whatever, or I don't know. He also just stood there and talked. So it's not I don't know. It's a hard path to walk. Oh, it makes sense. Oh, it doesn't make sense. Or is whatever. Logical, whatever word you want to use for it. So I'm just concerned about that with that little end credit scene. Like I said, would it be nice to have a little send-off if this is truly the end of the series? Yes, of course. Bring everybody back. Then again, you've been bringing everybody back pretty much for the last 4 movies. Just, one last goodbye for everybody. Now, does Fast 7's drive-away scene? That was a perfect goodbye. Everybody cried. I cried. That's a perfect send-off scene. Do you need another one for that character? No, I don't think so. But as a send-off for the series, doesn't make sense. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, time will tell. So, going back to the story. I know I'm jumping all around here. I apologize. Thought they did a good job with the story. The action was entertaining and exciting. We saw a lot of it in the trailers. I'm not going to lie. There wasn't any big action set pieces that weren't in the trailer. We saw John Cena drive off the cliff and get swooped up by the jet. We saw the big armored vehicle eat the rockets and stand up, and then get flipped into a jet. We saw these moments already. So there was nothing at least that I can picture, that really stands out as unique to the film, which is kind of sad now thinking about it. I would say the only thing that they didn't show was going to space, which, don't show that. That's the fun little thing of like, oh my god, they actually did it. So that's a little that there wasn't anything added to that. But I thought all the action set pieces were cool. The magnet stuff was alright. The bringing back of Han is cool. I wonder, they could have done a little bit better of an explanation with how they disguised his death. Like, they just said Mr. Nobody had ways of doing it. I don't know if it was like a hologram shit or whatever the fuck, but that was a little confusing. They could have showed that a little bit better. But cool, he's back. Cool to implement him into this story with the saving the little girl, and she's part of the key to access the tech weapon. So cool that he's back. I joked around. I went to see this movie with Charlie and Brendan. I joked around after. I'm like, all right, so everybody's back. Is Gal Gadot going to come back in the next movie? Somehow she survived falling from the airplane. I don't know. We keep playing with that are they really dead thing throughout this series. Another thing we keep playing around with is we're falling into a pattern with these, at least the back half of these movies, is we got the bad guy, and by the next movie they're a good guy. The trend stays the same here. The Rock was bad in Fast 5, Fast 6 he's good. Not Owen Shaw. There's two Shaw brothers. What's the actor's name? Shit. He did the movie with The Rock, the spinoff, Hobbs and Shaw. Big action star. Anyways, he was bad. Now he's good. I'm sure I think there's one other one where that transition happens. But now we're doing it with Cena. We had the whole redemption arc with Cena at the end, which is like, it's very predictable. Because obviously we've done it for the last 3-4 movies. It's just like, alright, guess fuck it. Whatever, John Cena's good now. Which, makes sense. He's a multi-million-dollar movie star. You want him in your movie franchise. So I get that. The one thing I do appreciate, though, is they're keeping Cypher, a.k.a. Charlize Theron, I believe, her character, the big bad. Thank you. It's not just one and done with her. She's been around for numerous movies, kicking ass, taking names. Thank you. They did pull the little... they got me with her dying in the drone, but it was a drone she was flying, not an actual plane, so I do appreciate that. Circling back one quick second just with Charlize's character and the trailers, they did a good job of cutting that trailer together to make it feel like she was more in charge and that she saved Cena at that one point when she did not. That was just a little loop-de-loop there, so I did appreciate that. So yeah, we're kind of falling into this trend of bad guy becomes good guy. Whatever. It's fine. I'm not against it. It's just really predictable now, and it's like, okay, well, what's the stakes here? Like, am I supposed to care that Cena's bad? Probably not, because I know by the end of this movie, hey, he's going to be a good guy. He's going to be on our team. So, yeah, whatever. After credits scene. We see Owen Shaw beating up some person in a punching bag that he's trying to get information from, and he was the one who killed Han, allegedly, back at the end of Fast 6, I believe. We saw that. So Han shows up at his place, and we just get this little quick stare down. How is this going to play out? I don't know, because technically Owen Shaw is good now. He's worked with Dwayne. He's worked with The Rock's character, Hobbs' character. And technically I think he worked with the main crew as well before they did the Hobbs and Shaw spinoff. So, yeah, that's going to be awkward. I don't know how they're going to swipe that palette clean. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, it was a fun movie. It was a good time. Do I need to go see it again? Probably not, but I won't lie, getting, like, excited to go to the movie theaters again after this whole, shit show of a year and a half has been. I was excited to go. I was actually excited to rewatch the whole series, which I haven't done yet, but like it got me hyped to go do that. So yeah, I think it obviously filled its role. Selling movie tickets, being an exciting, fun movie. It did a good job with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I'd be interested to have some more conversations with people, what they thought, what they liked, what they didn't like. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Fast 10 is actually the end, the two-parter, and then, we drive off to the sunset with that. I don't know. Let's see, Papa Griffin chat says, so having only seen parts of Fast 1 and the one with The Rock and all the wrestlers, just one dumb question and a totally random visual observation. Okay, so watching Fast 1, I was able to buy into Dom and Mia being bro and sis. Not so easy with Jacob. Do we get Cena because he's hot commodity? I don't see the family resemblance. I could see it a little bit facially, like structure-wise. I do understand, like, it's a reach. Like, they do have similar, well, maybe not jawline, but nose and other facial features. Like, okay, maybe. I assume yes. Honestly, it's like, oh shit, Cena's a big get. How do we figure out how to put him in this movie, kind of thing. I don't think this is an MCU situation where they're like planning meticulously ahead of time. Maybe they are. Maybe Vin's the big mastermind of this whole thing. I don't fucking know. But no, it's probably like, okay, we want a big name to fill a role. What makes it more dramatic? We'll make him a family member, and then obviously we, like I said, we kind of sprinkle in the family elements here, backstory, into the movie to make it make sense. Like I said, they did a good job with it making sense because it made sense why we haven't talked about this character before in the other movies and how it could have fit. Could have brought Austin. Maybe that might have been an age thing. I don't know. It could have. Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I assume it's just like, oh, we need a money name. John Cena. He's a money name. So there's that. I don't think it's a like connection with The Rock kind of thing, because I think Vin and Rock are button heads. That's why Hobbs and Shaw was a spin-off movie and whatever, but I don't know. That's going to be an interesting thing too. If by Fast 10 are we going to, everything's, bridge, water under the bridge, are we going to be able to move forward with that? I hope so. But I don't know. Is there actually really drama? Who knows? It's not any of my business. I don't know. But yeah, good movie, good time. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know.